Where the hell is this idiot at?
I heard he lost something. I think he said he lost the rapid fire. Then he doesn't want to be the backup to Alex for this show anymore.
Oh yeah,
no.
that was the rapid fire that I would have won if
Nope.
Mikey didn't kick me out.
You got kicked out? How did you get kicked out, man?
Mikey kicked me out for no reason.
Dude, you probably should have won if
That's
you
what
didn't
I'm saying.
Yeah, what's up, guys? What's up, guys?
Oh,
What are you guys talking
there
about?
he is.
What are you guys talking about?
I heard that you didn't want to be backup anymore on the show.
Ian, that is 100% false. Yeah, I lost, but I can take I could take my L's, but if there's a lesson we can learn here is you don't believe everything you read on the internet.
You know, if there's one thing that's true from the internet, though, it is that I won. So we're gonna go like this now. Just gonna hang out.
Alex, I'll make a cut. Alex, I'll make a cut. I'll make a cut after my face, and then we'll just start with you saying that.
Yeah. All right.
Now, if you guys are wondering why I don't have the glasses on, Alex and I made a deal because I got a very cool gift for Christmas that he said if I wear it for the entire show, I don't have to wear the glasses this week. So,
dripped out.
Yes.
Drip gang.
How do I
Drip
sound?
gang.
How do I sound with this on, by the way?
Terrible. That chin strap is really blocking your audio.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Let me try to fit this on my big head.
Little bro.
All right. All right. How about
There
now?
you go. There you go. That's
now?
better.
Okay.
That's better.
I think
you
need to make one adjustment though. I think it needs to be Penn State.
Ooh.
You're in timeout.
Sorry. I'm alumni now. I have to say it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so obviously a lot has happened since the last time we have been on.
Yeah, weird recording schedule from Christmas is all messed up.
Yeah, and I want to say this real quick before we get into anything. In my opinion, I think you roll with the hot hand, and Mason Rudolph is your starter for the rest of the year, and that's without question. And remember, I am a Kenny guy, but Mason's hot. You can't take the ball out of his hands. So I'm just going to say that before we get into anything and go from there. Kenny is most likely your starter next year, but once again, you cannot, unless Mason wins the Super Bowl, then you send him to Mars. I'm sorry. You just send him to Mars. But you just can't take the ball off of Mason's hands. It's just like a pitcher when he's hot and he's getting guys out. You can't take him out. You got to keep him in because he's getting guys out, and Mason's doing his job. So do we want to talk about the last 2 weeks of Steelers football, or get into the little report that came out today?
I think we should probably open with the report.
My cat just came into my room and opened my door. I don't even know where'd he go. Oh, he's right there. 1 second. I'm gonna get him out of my room real quick. Alex, if you want to go ahead and start this.
So I don't know the full thing. Let me see if I can get. This up on
Probably cut out. Yeah.
Apparently, and you guys can jump in on this too. So this is official. Kenny's healthy. Okay, I was gonna say Kenny's healthy, but he's not playing this week, and there's all kind of stuff going on. People are saying that he didn't want to back up Mason during the Seahawks game.
Yeah, I got an article.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is from Dan Kovacevic, who's a very valuable Pittsburgh sports writer. And so just so we're clear, the guy that made this statement was Mark Madden. That tells you a lot, right? So I'm sorry, I can't take myself serious with this one. Okay. So, all right, I took the helmet off for a second. Is my audio all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good.
Okay, so the source was, yes, that Kenny did not want to back up Mason Rudolph, which was the reason why he did not dress in Seattle. Dan, shut this down real quick. So as it says on the screen right here, on top of the original reporting I just shared below regarding Kenny Pickett, I'm now informed by an impeccable team source, I might have said that wrong, but words are hard, that Pickett and Mike Tomlin had a conversation upon the Steelers' arrival in Seattle. And it was within the conversation that it was decided Pickett wouldn't suit up in as the number 3. And for the very reasons laid out in my previous file just below, he hadn't been cleared to play until Thursday, which Tomlin deemed too late in the week. As I wrote below, nothing to see here, like, at all. Anybody still need more? So that is what Dan said. So can we shut up and stop making Kenny looking like a diva? Please.
Yeah, I think that article is a little more on the true side. I don't think Kenny Pickett's happy about the situation he's in. Because if you're a competitor, obviously you want your team to win, but why wouldn't he want to be a starting quarterback? But I don't think he didn't want to back him up.
Well, I think it just burns the fire just a little bit more.
You want to add a little bit more? Heavy.com has so this is actually from Bet Online. It's just being reported by Heavy.com. The Steelers are tied with Chicago, Atlanta, and the Giants as the 4th most likely team to acquire Russell Wilson in the offseason this year. Minnesota is at 5-1, New England 6-1, Washington and Vegas 7-1, and then Chicago, Atlanta, New York, and Pittsburgh at 8-1 odds to acquire Russell Wilson.
I'm going to say this about that. I think that you absolutely need to have a competition in the quarterback room, but I don't think the Steelers want to take that cap hit on Russell Wilson. That's just my opinion.
No, I think it should be Kirk. If they're going to do it with any good veteran quarterback that could play for a year and let Kenny develop, it should be Kirk.
Joe
Absolutely.
Flacco.
Or Flacco. Genuinely, yeah. Or Joe Flacco.
I don't think they'll come over.
Realistically, though, especially if the Vikings land Russ, as they are one of the other most likely teams to land him, Kirk on a 1-year deal. He's been getting 1-year whatever deals for like 6 years in a row now. So, like, if you're going to do anything, it should be Kirk, who just popped his Achilles, coming off an injury, is going to be cheaper than he would be normally. He could play for a year, or he could be a fantastic spot starter and fantastic mentor for Kenny. That's the best one, in my opinion, but
I agree.
Everyone's talking about all kind of garbage right now.
So Alex made a good point in our chat earlier, and he was right. I pay way too much attention to Pittsburgh media, and I need to take a break from it.
God, it's like, I mean, the only thing you can do worse is be a Saints fan. Like, seriously, like, it's terrible.
So this is gonna be like the last time, because I don't really think I brought up Pittsburgh media on the show before, Alex, if I'm correct.
I don't think so.
So this is gonna be the only time I'm gonna bring this up. Say it was true about Kenny. I think you cut Kenny because you cannot have that in the locker room. That's bad. That is bad. Yeah. I'm gonna be fair. That's bad. But let's be real, guys. If we did not have all these sources and everything, do you really think Mike Tomlin is going to let a second-year guy that has, throughout the entire year, has not proven that he deserves the job back just yet, talk like that without any repercussions? No. Mike Tomlin is not going to let that happen. So I think this was just to diminish Kenny, because Mark Madden has a history of hating Kenny back in his Pitt days, and he got some horrible source, garbage source, and it was shut out lies. Now, I think Kenny should come out tomorrow, talk to the media, shut it down, and you move on. That's what you do.
I agree.
That's what you do. So that's what I think Pittsburgh media has been garbage this year, but Dan is one of the good ones. So if there's anybody to check out articles, check him out. He's a valuable source. And let's talk about some things that actually matter, and that is that the Steelers are in the playoff hunt.
With their only two 30-point games of the season coming in the last 2 weeks. I didn't watch the Bengals game, I can tell you that much. I thought that was going to be a disaster. But I did watch the Seattle game yesterday.
I was at work, so I can't give my opinion on the Seattle game.
Yeah. I mean, Mason's played really well the past 2 games, especially not playing literally a single football game in 2 seasons. Came out in his first start against Cincinnati, went 17 for 27 for 290 and 2 touchdowns, and then this week won 30-23 in Seattle for the first time since 1983. We've beaten Seattle, by the way. And he went 18 for 24 for 274. No touchdowns, but I mean, pretty much everyone else did everything. Naj had 2 touchdowns. He was going crazy. Jalen Warren had a touchdown, so can't really complain about that. Steelers are getting hot at the right time, I would say. Playing really good football, and you're probably going to be playing a Baltimore team who is resting a portion of their starters next week. So, I mean, that's ideal. But again, at the same time, I could see Baltimore playing their starters for maybe a half and hoping that they can get out to a big enough lead that it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because I don't think anyone would want 2 division opponents in the playoffs. There's already going to be 1 in the Browns, but I don't think any team would want 2 division rivals in the playoffs. So Baltimore could be looking to play spoiler as well. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we could start off with this question. We'll start with you, Ian. What did you see from Mason from these last 2 games? More specifically, since we're starting with the Bengals game, what did you like about what you saw from the defense, the whole team in general? We'll start with that.
So my big thing with the Steelers is, unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch a full game yet this season. Yeah. Because I either have hockey or something else going on Sundays. But so far, what I've seen from Rudolph is he's able to throw the deep ball, and he's able to look for the deep ball. I mean, George Pickens is finally getting his deep routes in. So
yeah,
finally, he's getting his calls. He's not throwing a tantrum at the end of the game. So I'm happy that Pickens is finally getting his play time now, and the defense doesn't look bad. I mean, I don't think our defense has ever been a huge problem. Pat P finally made it to safety, which was finally a good call.
Good.
Joey Porter Jr., big Penn State alumni, he's playing great too. He's matched up with some of the best wide receivers in the league.
He was making some big dog plays on DK Metcalf yesterday.
Yeah.
Which is really impressive. Those are 2 height freaks right there in terms of their positions. And JPJ was running with him, which honestly, I was thinking about it the whole game. If they would have just let DK keep running slants and crossers, we probably would have allowed 50 points in that game, because every time he ran some kind of slant or something, he was wide open. I mean, he caught 5 passes. I think they were all for at least 15 or 20 yards. He was just, anytime he ran over the middle of the field, he was busting them. But yeah, I think the defense played pretty well. I think people tend to forget how good Geno Smith is at avoiding pressure in the pocket. And he busted that one big run towards the end of the game yesterday, and I was shook. I forgot how fast he is. But yeah, I think that was a quality win in Seattle, again, against a team you haven't beaten in 40 years. Which is kind of strange. You don't think about the Steelers to be a team that hasn't beaten someone in 40 years, but that is true. But yeah, I think the D line was getting some pressure. Nick Herbig had a really big strip sack at one point in the game that gave the Steelers the ball in a very favorable field position. So I think that's the most important. The run game is gelling. The O-line, I mean, I don't remember the last time I saw the Steelers look that dominant offensively in terms of physicality. They really just were their whole plan really was to come out, walk into someone else's stadium, and just run them the hell over. And they did it, and I thought it was really impressive. Mike's shaking his head over there.
Caden, same question for you. What did you see out of the Steelers that you liked?
I mean, obviously, I like the fact that we're playing with like fire, taking shots, not being afraid. Not, I am a Kenny guy, so when I say this, I don't mean to like, just be only on his back because he went to my school. But I do believe that this whole Mason Rudolph situation is kind of like a Tommy DeVito or a Josh Dobbs playing at Minnesota. Like you have absolutely nothing to lose. Like what's he gonna do? Go back to third string, make $1 million a year like he was before? He doesn't.
Yeah.
He's shown loyalty towards the team. I think it's easier when you have nothing to lose. And why would you not take like the deep balls? I guess I can say he has a way longer leash playing than what Kenny does when he's starting.
I mean, you could say that.
You could.
I'm glad he's playing well. I'm glad we're winning games. Yeah. It's nice to see putting up 30-point games.
So to add on to that, to be fair, the Bengals and Seahawks defense, they don't really rank high in the
especially
NFL.
Pass defense. The Bengals have one of the worst pass defenses in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you could argue that. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just looking at it at different points, and I think pretty much Alex is doing the same thing. And you could, yeah, you're right. Just like Tommy DeVito, just like Jake Browning, you can make that argument. So we'll see. It's more of a we will see what happens, and it's you can't really make the assumption yet, but you definitely have to think of all the factors that could possibly happen with Mason Rudolph. And I will say this, with everything Mason Rudolph has been, what he's been through, it's great to see him play well and get this opportunity. I think it's awesome. I think it is awesome. And like I said, you roll with the hot hand in Baltimore. And yeah, it's really a matter of we'll see, in my opinion.
And this really is the conundrum of this whole situation is only getting Kenny Pickett healthy for one game before, after Matt Canada. Because even, in the New England game and the Arizona game, they were still running a lot of Canada plays, even though he wasn't the offensive coordinator anymore. And this is the problem, is that we really don't know. Because I do think that Mason Rudolph, since he is a bigger pocket passer quarterback, he just naturally looks for the deep ball better than Kenny will. But this is the problem. We didn't get – if we could have at least – if Kenny would have played the whole game against Arizona and the team was still that bad, then we would have a little bit more to go off of. But he literally – even though they didn't score a lot of points against the Bengals in the first game without Matt Canada, they did have 400 yards. They played a good football game. They won the game. You would have liked to see them score more than 16 points, which is a problem. But
yeah,
it's so hard. And this is the most frustrating thing is I can't stay in one spot with Kenny Pickett right now. Because for one moment, I can say Mason Rudolph has come off the bench and played football for the first time in 2 years and lit teams on fire. But the offense is finally starting to change. We've played two really bad pass defenses. We're fighting for a playoff spot. There's all kinds of different things, and it's really frustrating because a lot of situations I can look at something and say, I have a pretty good idea on this, but there's literally there couldn't be a more muddy situation than this one right now on what you're supposed to do next year.
Yeah.
So I got a hot take that I think that I'm gonna give out right now and say what happens. I think, and it's not really that much of a hot take, but I think Kenny is the starter next year.
Yeah,
but listen,
realistically,
it is.
But listen, I think Mason plays well against Baltimore, and I think he goes somewhere else. I think Mason is like, listen, so now you guys want to value me, but this other team wants me. Bye. And I think he leaves. I think Mason will go play for somebody else next year. And I think this free agency will
maybe
be different.
Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings, a very good system.
Exactly. So I think that's what's going to happen. But I think what Steeler fans need to do is be excited you're still in it. Be excited you're winning. Be excited the team's playing. The rest will come later. Don't worry about it right now. Worry about the fact that you guys could be making the playoffs. There you go. And there you go. It's that simple.
So
It is
let me
that
ask something
Yeah.
while we're on this topic right now. So I believe this is the way it goes. If the Steelers win and then Buffalo and Indy lose, we would end up being the 6th seed in the playoffs. I believe that's right.
So what if Buffalo wins and then but the Colts lose? Is it done?
I'm not sure.
I think
so. I'm pretty
I thought it
certain.
was. I thought it was just one of those teams needs
Yeah.
to lose.
I think it's
I
just
think it's just
either
one of them.
Yeah, because the Jags do have the head-to-head over the Colts and the Texans, so that won't change anything. So let's think about it this way. Everyone's saying Kenny will be the starter next year because that makes sense. You said at the beginning of the episode, if Mason wins the Super Bowl, obviously you got to think about this all differently, but that's a huge thing. Let me ask this, though. If the Steelers win and Buffalo loses to Miami and we're the 6th seed and we go on the road and beat Jacksonville and then play a really close game at Baltimore and, are this close to the AFC Championship game or do make it to the AFC Championship game, do you think that that decision is a lot harder than it would be otherwise?
Yes.
Okay. I figured. I just wanted to see. Because I think if Mason Rudolph gets in there, beats the Jaguars, who you lost to earlier in the year, and then either plays really close to the AFC's top seed, because realistically the 7th seed's probably not going to beat either Miami or Buffalo, whichever. Well, in this situation, it would be Miami because Miami would win. So if you beat Jacksonville on the road, a team that you already lost to, and obviously a horribly officiated game, but still, and then you beat the AFC's 1 or 2 seed or something like that, I think you have to think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you do. But I don't know. It's way too hard to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think now here's the thing, Alex. I got a question for you. So say the Steelers make the playoffs, but they get eliminated first round. Is it still Kenny Pickett for sure next year?
Yeah, I think so. I think if they're one and done,
Yes.
I think it's got to definitely be Kenny next year.
Okay.
Because you were
There's a lot of
7-5 before he got hurt. You were 7-5, and then you had a little skid whenever you were dealing with figuring out who's going to play with him being gone, and then you made it back into the playoffs. I think if Kenny would have stayed healthy and he would have gotten used to the new offense, I think he probably beats at least one of the 2, New England or Arizona. Maybe still lose to Arizona because my take on Arizona is getting better by the week with them beating Philadelphia. I do think that if you at least beat New England if Kenny is healthy.
Yeah.
And then obviously they're on a bit of a streak now, but I think you have at least one more win if Kenny was healthy. So if they go one and done in the playoffs and lose in the wild card, yeah, I think there's zero doubt Kenny's the starter next year.
Yeah, and hey, maybe Mason goes somewhere else still. So who knows? It's too early to tell. It's too early to tell. So yeah, I mean that's all I got on the Steelers stuff. Is there anything else you guys want to add on to before we move on?
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm good.
All right, so what do we want to move on to next?
I know exactly what I want to talk about because this has been bothering me, and I've been waiting to talk about this because this happened after we recorded the last episode, which was before all of the games. So
Hey, I'll take the fine, but I got to take this off for a second. I'll put it back on in a few minutes.
that's fine.
Put the glasses on.
I
Yeah.
can't find them. They're here somewhere. I don't know. Here, you know what? As Alex is talking, I'll find them.
So this is something that is full-blown infuriating me, and we're talking about someone from this team before the show started. It is absolutely mind-boggling to me that San Francisco is still the Super Bowl favorite right now in Vegas.
Yeah.
I can't. They're plus 210. Baltimore's plus 350. Brock Purdy has the worst game of the season for his standards, and they lose at home 33-19 against Baltimore. Now, I think Lamar Jackson has already won the MVP. I think he won the MVP after beating the Niners last week, but if you needed him to smash Miami, there you go. He did that too and threw more touchdowns and incompletions. So I think that's out of the question now. I think Lamar is the clear-cut MVP of the league this year. If not, it's Christian McCaffrey. But Baltimore not being favored to win the Super Bowl is insane. I get that Lamar only has like one playoff win in his career so far, maybe two, and he has not played well in the playoffs. But I don't know how you can set the odds for the Super Bowl and not take the team who just absolutely, utterly dismantled the other top favorite to win the Super Bowl. I don't get that at all.
Doesn't make any sense to me either. I've never actually been a fan of Brock Purdy. I don't think he's all hyped up. I don't think my take on him is that he's at most average quarterback on a fantastic team.
He is. He doesn't have any special physical gifts. He has made some. I'll give it to him. He's made some crazy. He made a really crazy crossbody throw like 2 weeks ago or something like that went for a big gain. But he's physically average. He can process a football field well, but I think anyone could process a defense well whenever you can throw a screen and have it go for 75-yard touchdown at least once a game.
Yeah, he arguably has one of the best, or if not the best O-line. He arguably has the best running back. He has how many receivers that you could put in top 10 easily?
Yep.
I mean, if you set
top
that up,
5 tight end.
A great tight end. Why would you not play the way that he plays?
Can you imagine how this defense would be too if Hufanga didn't tear his ACL in like week 4 or something like that? They're all pro, like 5th round safety. And this is something I've said on the show multiple times, and it's infuriating to me how bad sports media is at being prisoners of the moment when it comes to things. And this is happening. This is exactly what is happening with another team right now in the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are back in the playoff race. If they beat Miami this week, everyone's going to think Josh Allen should be MVP, because if they beat Miami, they'll be the 2 seed, even though they're going to miss the playoffs if they lose. Like, people are such prisoners of the moment in the media, and everyone for some reason is still obsessed with Brock Purdy, and it drives me insane.
I don't think that it's going to go away either. I think no matter what, they're always going to say that he's got it in him to do more than what he actually can do.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why. And I think that whole thing comes from just specifically the fact that he was the last pick in the draft.
It is. If he was, let's be real here. Who's the other quarterback that we could compare that wasn't a top 5, top 10 pick in the NFL draft? Dak Prescott. He's a 4th round pick, and nobody does this with him.
No. Exactly.
Everyone does goes out of their way to discredit Dak Prescott because of the roster he has, because of the weapons he has around him, because of the offensive line, because of the defense, but nobody wants to do it with Brock Purdy, and it's just because of the Mr. Irrelevant.
That's the only reason that they talk about him.
Yeah, sorry boys, I was trying to fix my light. Yeah, I agree. It's just, can we just agree that in 2023, sports media just sucks all around.
It does. It's really been bad this year. It's been really, really bad.
And I'm not saying that because of what we talked about in the beginning. I'm saying that all around, because what Alex said is right. He's right.
It's so bad. It's showing more than normal this year for some reason, because media always does this. They'll always just grab the most relevant storyline and run with it. I mean, every sports media all summer, it was Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, and then he tore his Achilles, so they had to move on to something else. And then it was Tua and the Dolphins when they put up 70 points against the Broncos, and then it was whoever. It was Josh Dobbs and his run in the middle of the season. It keeps. It's just over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's dizzying.
Real quick, Alex, score check on the Michigan.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Last time I checked, it was 2013 Alabama.
Ooh. Yeah.
Okay, it was 17-13 last time I checked.
Yeah.
Oh my God, 134 left. This game is tied at 20.
Wow.
I
We'll give more.
gotta turn on the TV.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up ESPN. I'm split screening this with teams right now.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to make this a football/hockey heavy episode. So
111 left. Jalen Milroe and the Tide have it at their own 37 with 1:11.
I don't care what
First and
happens.
10.
Still, hook 'em, hook 'em, hook 'em.
Facts.
Hook 'em.
I'll be
Okay.
watching that game as soon as we're done here.
What time is it? Oh, so it's on like right after.
Yeah, it's on at like 8. It's actually probably about to come on.
Yeah, with basketball, with Pitt basketball and NBA, we'll return to that next week. Caden, since you're a Pitt guy, I'll give you the chance real quick. What do you like about Pitt hoops so far this year?
Playing super fast paced, good defense, and great shooting.
For
They
real.
have that freshman kid. I forget his name, but he's on
Bupp
fire.
Carrington.
Blake Hinson. You have nothing bad to say about that guy at all. He literally had Kevin Durant tweet at him saying about how great his shooting is.
Crazy.
I mean, I have nothing wrong to say about Pitt basketball for a couple of years now. Actually, they've been on the rebound in a good way.
Yeah, and now I'm doing this because it's been a while since Caden and Ian have been on the show. So like, I want to get their perspectives on different things in sports and what I know about what teams obviously they like from the top of my head. So Ian, I'll go to you, and I think it's no secret. Alex and I like to crap on Penn State a lot, but we do like to be fair.
Yeah, we do.
So what's your opinion? And we asked this when Isaac was on the show, which by the way, January 18th. I always forget the
18th.
date. Critical Eye will be on there. So Ian, I'll ask you the same question. What's your opinion on Drew Aller so far?
I think he's a young QB, but I think he did well. But it'll be a whole new game next year. It'll be his sophomore season of him actually playing, so he'll be able to probably read better. He'll probably be able to make those important throws. I mean, he's got Singleton and I forget the other back's name, but they're still staying back too. So I think they're gonna have a
Nick
stacked
Singleton
offense.
and Katron Allen are both staying.
That's what I heard. I could be wrong because it was my roommate that told me, but I'm pretty sure they
That would
still
be
are.
big.
They need a wide receiving core though. They don't have anybody that he can throw
That's
the ball to.
Yeah, that's true. And like I said, I like to be fair with Penn State, and in my opinion, with Drew Aller, I think with his freshman year, I think it was too early to tell to be like, oh, you need to move on from him. I think you need to just like Kenny, you need to let him develop. You need to let him develop. Though obviously it's a year one versus a year two, but you guys know what I mean. You gotta let the guy develop. And I think it'll be interesting to see what you see at a year two. And Alex, you're
Oh my God. Alabama just punted and Michigan's returner muffed the punt and got tackled at the half-yard line. That was almost a safety. Sorry, continue.
No, I
No, you're
literally
good,
just
you're
saw
good,
that.
you're
I
good.
can't believe that just happened.
no, you're good. You're
Oh
good.
my God. Looks like this game's going to go to overtime. I can't imagine they're going to try and do anything there. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I do think though, once again, respectfully, Ian, I think it's going to be the same result with Penn State next year.
You know, my only problem with Penn State, James Franklin cannot win a big time game.
Thank you. That's literally our opinion on James. Seriously, honestly, Alex, I don't know about you. I would respect Penn State more if James Franklin was not the head coach. I
Me
can't
too.
stand James Franklin. I
I
can't.
feel like he's got to go. It's the same outcome. It seems stale.
10-2.
I like them. They're gonna keep him.
10-2.
They gave him a super long contract. I think it was like 6 years or something like that.
Yeah, it was something along those lines.
But we'll get tired of him. If we aren't already tired of him, we will be.
Well, Ian and I can at least hang out in the embarrassing bowl game loss club this year together.
You Ohio State guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Embarrassing bowl game
happens.
loss.
It happens.
This year. Yeah.
To be fair, your starting
I'd say-
quarterback
I'd
that
actually
game
say-
for number 33.
I'd say Penn State's bowl game was less embarrassing than Ohio State's, but Ohio State was pretty stripped down from opt-outs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chop didn't play
But
for
I
us,
still
so
think-
that hurt.
I still think that game will really fan the flames of the fire Ryan Day conversation, because you had Devin Brown, and then you knew that your two quarterbacks for that game would be Devin Brown and Lincoln Keenholz, and you somehow didn't have your backup quarterback ready to play in case your starter got hurt. Like, I don't know how you ever do that as a football coach. I don't know how you ever don't have your backup quarterback ready to play just in case. That's absolutely insane to me. But I digress. Michigan Bama's going to overtime at 20. This is crazy.
All right, I'm shutting Twitter off because somebody was just claiming, "Oh, Mason has a locker room and Kenny doesn't." Okay, stop. All right.
Relax, Twitter. Oh my God.
It's not that deep. I'm telling you, it's not that deep.
They don't
Listen,
even have enough room to. Oh, they do have enough room to kneel it. Okay.
if there wasn't a good source in Dan, I'd probably be making an ass out of myself because I don't know.
Yeah, you
But
would be. You
But
definitely.
there's literally a source saying that there's nothing going on other than he was inactive because Thursday was too late.
I think Kenny and Mason should box it out on live TV. Whoever wins gets to stay on the team.
Yeah, get it on Rough and Rowdy. Rough and Rowdy will do it for you.
And just because I was curious, I looked it up. They're following each other on Instagram. They're fine. Stop.
Whoever
Just stop.
loses has to go to the Saints.
Gosh. This is why I hate Steelers Twitter and I need to log off. So is there anything else football wise we need to discuss before we get to hacky?
I'm Caden, are you also confused at what's happening right now?
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on.
Like, Michigan just took a knee to take it to overtime and then took a timeout. I'm so confused.
All right. So Ian, I asked for you to get some hockey information. So we're gonna have you take the lead on this.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start out with. Do you guys know what tummy sticks is by chance?
I don't think so.
Mm.
Tummy sticks is just like a little bit of like a little round of applause. Okay, so round of applause one to Marc-Andre Fleury. He played his 1,000th game in the
1,000th
NHL.
game.
50 years old, man. He's still going strong. And another tummy sticks to the PWHL started today. So the first professional women's hockey league. First game was the first of the month and first of the
Sold
year.
out.
Sold out too. Yep. So I saw some posts on Instagram and they were letting them play too. I saw a lot of hits in that. So yikes. Hopefully it goes well for them. And then also Vegas beat Seattle Kraken in the Winter Classic 3-0. They're playing at the Seattle Mariners baseball field. So little baseball action. But everybody knows I'm a Pens fan. So Pens are 7th in the Metro right now, tied for points against the Caps and the Devils with 40 points. I'm so disappointed in their power play. I think this is the reason why we aren't winning. We're 13.4%. That's 27th in the league in power play. I don't know how you can be that bad with Evgeny Malkin, Jake Gensel, Sidney Crosby, Erik Karlsson, Chris Letang. You have these stud guys, and they can't produce on the power play.
Well, they were having problems just getting their power play in order at the beginning of the season. I mean, they weren't even putting Karlsson on the power play groups or anything. Like, it was bad.
It's real bad, and they've been switching it up. They got a little bit better, but I was watching the game the other night, and they went 0 for 3 again. It's like you can't be that bad if you want to win games. Thank God they did win games.
Yeah, they're finding themselves on a little streak right now, 3 in a row.
Yeah, and our goaltending is doing great so far. Jari Nedeljkovic is a great goalie duo. Sid is playing like Sid. He's got 20 goals this season, 125 shots on net, 33 takeaways, 478 face-off wins. Penguins are 18, 13, and 4. So he's doing great, and he's old too, and he's
He is
still
old.
producing points. I want Gino to have more of a point streak going on, because he'll get hot and then all of a sudden he'll disappear, which sucks for the Penguins, but it just happens when your team starts getting older. And then, speaking of old, we got Letang too. Letang's playing 24 minutes and 42 seconds on average for each game. That's great for him. That's more than a full period of playing.
Yeah,
And then,
that's I'm actually surprised he's getting that much ice time, considering he hasn't been ultra effective. He hasn't been, I mean, in the games where I was writing down stats to start the year, he was pretty unremarkable.
well,
I'm
the thing is
surprised
he's kind of switching up his game a little bit. He's still scoring a little, but he's stepping up on playing back a little bit more. He's playing more defensively, which is fine with me as long as you win games.
I mean, yeah. I mean, clearly he's doing something right. He had the most points by a defenseman in a period ever.
Yeah, 6 points was ridiculously good.
Yeah.
And then Jake Gensel. Jake Gensel's leading the team in goals with points with 40 points. So I have a feeling once this new year starts coming in, we're gonna have better luck. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. I mean, we're missing Brian Rust a lot right now. Brian Rust started out great this whole season, and then he kind of just got hurt, came back for a little bit, and then got hurt again. So hopefully that he gets healed pretty soon, and he's able to join the lineup and get some more points on the board. But anyways, that's my Penguins spiel. But NHL in general, we got Vancouver in first place for the Pacific with 49 points. You got Colorado Avalanche, 49 points, number 1 in the Central. Bruins, number 1 in the Atlantic with 50 points, and the Rangers in the Metro with 51. So right now it's pretty close in points, but those are some 4 big names that you'll probably see coming into the playoffs when those come around. Also, 2024 World Cup of Hockey, May 10th through May 26th, World Cup of Hockey is going to start. That's when best on best, we finally get a best on best. It's been a long time since the NHL's done it. I think 2016 was the last time that we did it. I was looking at the lines. Your first line for Canada looks to be Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, and Connor freaking Bedard. What a line. What a line that is. You want to hear what's really funny though? Team USA is favored to win because of goaltending.
What's the line on that game?
There's no lineup yet because it hasn't started, but
yeah,
I have no idea. But all I know is future-wise, USA is favored a little bit. But cup predictions, do you guys have any before I say what mine are?
The Pittsburgh freaking Penguins, baby.
Attaboy.
We're winning it all.
How about you two?
Wow, the Bruins are leading the Atlantic. I really don't care. That's funny, dude.
I gotta think. I gotta think.
I don't watch enough hockey to put my take on it.
Fair enough.
Okay, all right. You know what? I think I got it.
Let's hear it, Mike.
I think it'll be the Rangers versus the Golden Knights.
Really?
That's what I'm going with. That is what I'm going with. I'm a little curious to see what you guys think, but that's the feeling I'm getting. It'll be the Rangers and Golden Knights realistically. I think the Hurricanes, maybe.
My only problem with them, their goaltending is not there.
No.
Okay,
Nope.
For me, I have Colorado Avalanche
The Avs are nice.
versus yours truly, Pittsburgh Penguins. And my thing is with that is I think the Penguins are going to sneak their way into the playoffs, and Pittsburgh is never good in a high seed. Ever.
You know what,
So
Ian? You're not
I-
far off of what I said a couple weeks ago. I said the Penguins are going to make a Cinderella run to like the Eastern Conference Finals or semifinals or something like that. So
I think they can do it. They have experience. They've
They
been
do.
there before. They know what it takes. I mean, it's Sid, Gino, Letangs. It's starting to become their last few years. So I think
touchdown,
they got to
Blake
go for it.
Blake Corum just ripped like a 17-yard touchdown.
It was a
Open
Wow.
it was a beast mode touchdown.
It was a beast mode touchdown. But yeah, you know what,
Speaking
Ian?
of beast mode, he bought Seattle Kraken. He was at the game today. He was talking about it.
Was he
Really?
really? That's sick.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Him and Biz Nasty.
That's
That's
awesome.
so dope. But yeah, Ian, I agree. Pittsburgh sports teams never play well when they're like a top seed ever.
No.
No, so as long as goaltending stays healthy and we keep on putting points on the board, I think we'll be fine. I think we got
Yeah,
it.
I agree. Well, that's the thing I said at the beginning of the season whenever we first started covering the Pens this year was that they're playing faster than they did last year, even though they're not really any younger than they were last year. Like you said, they're really an experienced team that can make a run. Clearly, they're the oldest roster in the entire league. So clearly they know what they're doing. It's just executing. And they were, they opened the season losing to Bedard and the Hawks, which is kind of embarrassing, but not as embarrassing
the
now.
game.
Connor Bedard's balling out now. He's going crazy, and they look a little bit better than they were expected to be. But yeah, I think Pittsburgh sports teams always play better when they have zero expectations. So as long as they can make it to the dance this year, they can make it into the playoffs. I don't doubt that they could do anything.
If they don't make it to the finals, I think it's Colorado, New Jersey.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good
that
one.
is
I
a
think
good
New
one.
Jersey. They got the Hughes brothers leading the pack there. They got a couple of
Yeah.
experienced guys, but they're still young. They move fast. They still play a little bit of the 1-3-1, but it's just faster now. Because it used to be the 1-3-1. You'd watch the game and you'd fall asleep watching the game. But it's just better now.
All right, Ian, so I have a question for you then, because I said something about this and it was a bit of a hot take. Do you think if the Pens miss the playoffs again this year, especially in the kind of fashion that they did last year to finish the season, do you think that there's serious consideration in getting rid of Mike Sullivan and bringing in someone new?
So my thing with Mike Sullivan is I think he stays because with Dubas coming in, I think it's more on him than Mike Sullivan.
Yeah, to put the team together. I agree. That's a fair point.
But I think we'll be on the hot seat starting next season.
Yeah.
Maybe they switch him out halfway through if he isn't playing up to expectations, because that's what they did when Dan Bylsma was coaching for them. I forget who the coach was before Bylsma, but Bylsma came in halfway through the season and then led him to the Cup.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens. Now, I'm going off of my bold take, Ian, just for context for this. So, in the likelihood of either one of these happening, we did bold takes last week. One of my bold takes was the Penguins will trade either Malkin or Letang. In a scenario where that happens, who do you think's more likely to go, Malkin or Letang, if they have to trade one?
If they had to trade one, I think what happens is you get more for Letang because we still have Carlson. Carlson's still a great defenseman. I think Malkin, you get less for him, and I honestly, they're not going to leave. They can't leave. I mean, Yager left when he was playing, but it was for money and whatever. Gino doesn't care about that. Letang doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
They're gonna stay together even if they're taking dirt cheap contracts. And not that they are, because they just signed a long extension for a little bit of money. But I don't think they leave.
Can I just say I think it's really funny that they signed those deals and then you look at Jeff Carter's contract in comparison.
Hey, he's been putting up points finally. So
He has been. You know who else? Riley Smith has been I don't want to call him a surprise because he's played well before, but he's been a pretty pleasant little above expectation player this year.
I think he's been great. I think another guy that you got to watch for is Drew O'Connor.
Drew O'Connor's been having
giant.
some good games.
He's a giant, and he's getting after it too. I mean, he's getting down in the corners. He's just a big body that can move.
Caden, are you seeing this tackle from the Michigan game? That looks kind of nasty.
Yeah. I think I'm like a lot more, my game is ahead of yours more.
I think so. I'm on ESPN on my laptop right now. It's probably delayed.
Yeah. It's still good. The game is going on still though, so.
Yeah, that number 3 for Alabama, the receiver just caught like a comeback and tried to stand up and drive his way to the goal line and got tackled and his leg kind of bent the wrong way a little bit. He's on the ground still holding his knee.
He gets up and tries to walk and it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is there any other hockey analysts you have, Ian?
Not that I can think of. Just let's go Pens and USA, baby. You know.
We're winning that cup. We're winning that cup. It's
Give
ours.
us the
Got
cup.
to.
We
We're better. We're better than Canada.
Damn right.
Yeah.
So before we close it out, Caden, since it'll probably be a while before you come back on the show until most likely the summer, is there any other insight on Kenny that you have with everything that has come out today and what has been going on? Is there anything else you would like to discuss? The floor is yours.
Nothing more that I think I would like to discuss, just the fact that I think, honestly, he's just not been in a good situation for 2 years now. That I just think that it comes down to that. I think next year when we need to hire a new, young offensive coordinator out of college that wants to try to change things, not just the Steeler way, like Greenville football, run, pass, run. Like, you need to do
Run, sack, screen. Run, sack, screen.
Yeah, you need to do something different. You need to be like a nice, exciting, innovative offense. We're not playing in the 1940s anymore, so I think that will make. Yeah, we need somebody. We need Pat Narduzzi to come over to Pittsburgh and be Pat Narduzzi or who else? Frank Signetti. Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah, needed Signetti.
Lord. Yeah, so obviously we'll continue to cover everything. Once again, we're going to put this to bed now for this episode and this episode only. Stop having a narrative that Kenny's not a team player. There's nothing there. Stop wanting these. Stop wanting these. And start using this. So
it's sports media, Mike. No one's ever gonna do that.
No.
Yeah, I know. Dan's the only one that'll do that, and Cody. So everything's gonna be fine. We'll discuss that later with the quarterback room. So, and let's just say this. I'm gonna say this. I think it would be also very clear that if Kenny's is dressed to be QB2 this week, I think that also puts it to bed even more. Let's just say. So, because if he did not want to back up Mason, he'd be inactive for this week too. And I'm pretty sure, and I'm also pretty sure, just going to say this, I'm pretty sure that we can agree for QB2 that Kenny is better than Mitch. So
Mitch does not need to be in the NFL.
Oh my
So-
God.
So there we go.
Alabama runs a quarterback power on 4th and goal from the 3 and doesn't get it.
They're idiots.
Oh,
Wolverines are going to the national championship to play the
Right.
winner of the Washington Huskies versus the Texas Longhorns starting
'em.
right now. Hook
I'm
'em.
I
saying
can't
go.
have Michigan win.
Go Huskies.
Honestly,
so,
yeah, it's just between whoever wins that game for me, Washington or
Mhm.
Texas, whichever. I Texas is my number 2 college team, so I want them to win. But like, it's one of those two teams against.
Yeah.
Even if Alabama won this game, it would still be Washington or Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm done talking about if Kenny is doing this and that. It's not there. Done with it.
Kenny's
Let's
a
go
crap.
Steelers. Let's go Steelers. How about that?
Let's go
Steelers. Let's go Steelers. So
How about them Steelers?
Yeah. So, and I also told Alex if we ever become like Pittsburgh media, I'm quitting the show.
Retiring for good.
Retiring for good. And also, if you're wondering why Alex isn't talking all his crap about winning rapid fire, he's waiting. He's waiting.
I'm waiting to
He's
be in
waiting.
person, baby.
Yeah. And by the way, we
Gotta revel
only
it.
have one more Zoom show left.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. Which I love how we call it Zoom when it's
Nice.
Google Teams, but whatever. But also, so next week is the very last ever Boro Tailgate Talks, if anybody's paying attention, which is also,
It's gonna be a pretty
Okay.
nice one.
yeah, it's going to be very, very
nice.
nice.
Very,
Very
very
nice
nice.
one, as this is episode 68. So next week would be,
Like 75. It's gonna be really nice.
I don't know. I don't know. I just know it'll be nice. And
Yeah.
we'll have a lot of guests on next week, let's just say. But yeah, so in all seriousness, Ian, Caden, thanks for coming on once again. This was a blast.
Of course,
buddy.
Junior Mint, of course.
And like I said, Critical Eye, January 18th, Classic Petkac. Also go subscribe to the Tailgate Talks official account because we'll be moving to there in a couple of weeks. Can't wait. We'll see you all in episode 69 next week. Nice. And yeah.
Nice.
So Alex, would you like to take us home? Wait, I gotta put the helmet back on one more time.
Ah,
I'll join you, Mikey.
Junior Mint,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
good night, America.